Good morning. Why is it so why is it so primary? It is taught to manage your environment. Negative people, influence, etc. Why is it always taught to manage it? Even manage yourself, but not the deeper aspect as far as the alignment of the environment to you. People go to therapy, and what are they doing? I see all these things online, all these sayings and stuff like that, always about managing issues. If you got a problem, you learn to manage them. Problems that are not natural are not supposed to be managed to this degree. That is not living, that is not life. What should be taught more so is alignment with you, align with the environment, create the environment, express into the environment, etc., that is aligned to you. Yes, I know. Relationships, in one example, people love to jump the gun and basically go self-first into it instead of paying attention to who the person is underneath this performative facade. And again, don't mind. I just openly expressing me. Just a moment of contemplation this morning before I went to the store. So I just jotted it down, came back, hit record. That's all. That's all I did this morning. That's all I'm doing. Just expressing me, not telling anybody what to think, how to be, etc. I have no authority over anyone except myself. Why is that, though? You go to therapy, I've been to therapy. My life is a crisis. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. And past tense, rather, as far as the therapy goes. All that was just managing the problem. What about the one having the problem? Why not focus on the person? Everybody goes everywhere, sits down, and just talks about problems. Bitching, moaning, complaining, again, I'm not speaking badly about it. But that is one thing again with therapy. Again, I was there. I was at rock bottom when I was there. But, which again, well, That would get too much explaining. The one thing that wasn't spoken on very much was what kind of environment, what things to do, where to be, what to do, any which way that aligns with me, that would create and be my environment to be congruent and harmonious with me in any way, shape, or form, and always, with just natural problems occurring naturally. That was hardly ever discussed. And this morning, I just like it, just like that, just a random moment of contemplation was like, why is that? And it was like, okay, well, I'm about to head out the door, so I jotted down. I'm like, I'll just record and think out loud. It's like, why is that? Why focus on the problem if okay, I understand if somebody doesn't know what the problem is, but so little is focused on the person themselves to turn, the inversion. Instead of focusing on the problems, focus on the opposite of that. What kind of, focus on the person and what is in congruence with them and regarding an environment, other people, anything at all. Except, thinking back, the only thing I got asked was just the general simplification of it. What would you do if you could have any job? What would you do if you could live anywhere? Where would you live? Just that kind of dumb stuff. And yet, when it comes to the problems, they have endless amount of different ways of asking every different which way, up and down, you name it, forward and backwards. But yet, when it comes to things that matter deep down and alignment of environment, instead of focusing on the problems of the environment, if your environment's crap, first of all, talking about it is not going to solve it. If an environment is negative, remove the negative influence or remove yourself. That, honestly, if possible, should always be step one. Because, you know what, that gives me another, that again, just, if somebody, why is, again, the problem is the primary focus, and yet, if somebody understands what is harmonious, what is congruent, etc., with them, they focus on what, ignites their being, just something that just makes you, when you get up in the morning, you're just lit up. You're just happy to be there, content, harmonious, you name it, no matter what it is, whether you're waking up on a cot in a garage somewhere, doesn't matter. I just make the garage reference because if I was all by myself, I probably would be living like that. I'd probably screw a house, I'll buy a garage. But why is that the focus? Because if you look at the problem, all you're going to focus on is the problem. Start with the opposite of the problem. If the environment is negative, what's positive for you? Hold on to that. Then look at the problem and say, you know what? That ain't worth shit. I want this. And then you work on that. Work on what matters to you, not the problems. I mean, I'm not saying be ignorant of the problems. I'm saying my experience, and even in therapy, past tense again, which is funny. I just a little bit. I say more things honestly and deeply here for anyone to see that I've ever said in therapy. Well, because I didn't understand my own orientation until a year and a half ago, and when I did, well, I didn't need therapy anymore. It's as simple as I could put it. But one thing, again, it was always, what's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? Then it makes you think, well, people have to keep focusing on the problem. How little awareness is there? Because I analyze that all day, every day. Not focus on, just I'm not ignorant of my problems. It's like, why just focus on the problems? Find what, like, again, I can't look within. I've only ever been there. So for other people, look within yourself and just find what harmonizes, aligns, and congruence, etc. with you. And just be authentic and in alignment with that. Not the problems. Know the problems, but don't make them primary. You got two things to look at. One's good, one's bad. Which one do you want to be looking at? You know they're both there. Which one's going to be better to look at? Something positive, something in alignment with you, or something that's not? Like, how is it? Again, that just might be my experience, my observation, etc., but I'm just thinking out loud, contemplating out loud, expressing out loud, whatever you want to call it. Just this morning, it was just like, that is so backwards. I mean, no. That might work for others. That might work for the majority. I don't know. That doesn't work for me. Because if I focus on the negativity, then that's all I'm focusing on. Then the things that are in alignment with me, they become secondary. That is backwards. So I don't know how everybody else is, but that's backwards to me. I'm not focusing on negativity anymore. I did it for 40 years. I'm not going there. Because there's not enough space on this phone for me to record for that long. Again, it's first thing in the morning. It was just an open contemplation. What does anybody else think? If anybody gets past the first 2 or 3 seconds, spam, click, do. Is that all people do all day? Other just scroll. I go through those too, but I find them very educational. I don't look at it as entertainment. I look at it as an information. Period. But what does anybody else think out there? Anybody anybody that's been through therapy, that's been through nonsense and trauma, and you see, this might be the issue here as well. I've never had a choice in being internally honest with myself. I'm not boasting that. It's been, like I said, imagine looking at, again, your negativity for 40 years, and it's like, and being honest about it. Not fun. So I mean, yeah, I could see if somebody's I honestly, I don't know. I can understand if somebody's ignorant and they need to focus on the problems to learn of them because they don't observe them. They're just influenced and affected by them. Whereas me, again, that's why I just express it for me. I don't understand that because I'm never not aware of my environment as much as I can be, paying attention. You know, people speaking to me, I'm aware of the tone, the environment, the body language. Just, if somebody's speaking to me nicely like this versus somebody, changing expression or tone of speech, stuff like that. It's like I pick up on a lot. I don't know. I mean, I guess, thinking back, that's what I needed, so that's what I'm expressing. I needed more harmony, positive, congruent, etc. Focus. When I was in therapy, because I keep using as the example, the understandable example. When I didn't need to focus on the problem because I didn't need help finding the problem. I already knew it. I needed help finding the inversion of it. What is harmonious and congruent with me, with my being? And sadly, it's not my environment I'm in now. And yeah, I know I fully understand what is not aligning with my being. Again, just an example, I am an internally oriented being first person. Everything is internalized first. As deep as it could get for me. And I'm married to a self-oriented, narcissistic, cheating woman. Talk about opposites, and not in a good way. So there's an example right there. It's like I don't need to go to therapy to learn my environment. I already know it. Quite frankly, what I need is a glass of ice cold water instead of a glass of scorching hot sand. It's that easy. And now the focus becomes not on the problem, but what is more harmonious with me. And again, I'm not saying any of this in any kind of, like I say harmonious and people always think like, oh, hippie shit and all that. No. It's like, well, if my environment's crap and I just keep focusing on the crap, it'll never improve. If you focus on negativity, all that will be is negativity. There it is again. Why is the problem the primary focus? But again, I can understand if the person is unaware of the problem. But if they're aware, then it should be inverted and the focus should become on improvement and alignment with what is harmonious to the person themselves. Again, if somebody is more naturally oriented, likes being around nature and countryside, they shouldn't be living in the city. And if they are and they're miserable, what should the positive focus be? Get to your environment, create your environment, be alignment with your environment, etc. Yeah. 20 minutes from a random contemplation. And y'all need scripts. Y'all need to edit. Y'all need to trim, cut, you name it. That's funny. I could do this all day, every day. But then again, not everybody well, I don't know. Nobody's watching, so I don't know who understands me. Anybody out there understand? Not like it matters. Well, it doesn't matter because not in the way that anything would be changed, because if I'm expressing me, there's nothing I could change about that wouldn't be inauthentic and performative. In that sense, I don't care if anybody understands or not, because I understand myself. I understand me. Nobody else can, because they are not me. So, you see what I mean? I could just I don't know when to stop. So I'll just stop. Have a nice day.